I've just been aboard what could possibly be considered the world's luckiest cruise ship. The Ambience is currently on her 2024 world cruise, but for a time it looked as if this world cruise would never have happened. In fact, the ship itself was saved at the 11th hour from the scrapyard. Ambience started her history all the way back in the 1990s, entering service for Princess Cruises in 1991 as Regal Princess, although the design of the ship actually predates this. The ship was designed by Sitmar Cruises, who employed Renzo Piano, the famous Italian architect, to create the distinctive look that the ship sports. Its design was actually inspired by the bottlenose dolphin, which you can see in the forward profile of the vessel. The ship sailed for Princess Cruises as Regal Princess from 1991 all the way through to 2007. Here she was one of the favourites of the Princess Cruises fleet. With a gross tonnage of just over 70,000, the ship was paired with a near-identical sister ship, the Crown Princess. And fun fact, the Regal Princess was actually christened in New York by the former UK Prime Minister Margaret Thatcher on the 8th of August 1991. The ship stayed with Princess Cruises until 2007, when she was transferred to the Carnival Corporation-owned P&O Australia. Here, she was given an extensive refurbishment and Australianised, and was rechristened as Pacific Dawn on the 8th of November 2007 by Australian Olympian Cathy Freeman. The ship continued to offer Australian-based cruises all the way through to 2020. However, in November of 2019, P&O Cruises announced that Pacific Dawn and Pacific Aria, another one of their fleet, had been sold to CMV. CMV planned to use these ships to expand their fleet. The Pacific Dawn was to be renamed Amy Johnson and was due to enter the CMV fleet in July 2020. However, as we all know, the global cruise shutdown interrupted these plans. Pacific Dawn, like many other cruise ships, was laid up off the coast of Manila. With CMV having collapsed, P&O Australia needed a new buyer for the vessel. The answer came in the way of ocean builder Central, which purchased the ship and named it Satoshi. The idea was to use the ship as a floating cryptocurrency community, and the former Pacific Dawn sailed to Panama in preparation. However, while she was laid up in Panama, it was announced that this plan had fallen through, and the ship would therefore be on-sold to the scrappers, when at the 11th hour, a new company purchased the ship. The new buyer planned to use the ship to commence cruising for a new cruise line, Ambassador Cruises. After acquiring the ship, she was taken to Europe for refurbishment. The ship was renamed Ambience and was the first and flagship of Ambassador Cruise Lines. Ambassador Cruise Lines is a company that is completely separate in ownership structure to CMV, but is run by many of the people who were involved in the former British cruise line. Ambience has had a bit of a challenging start to her career with Ambassador Cruises, with several issues developing around the ship's mechanics and safety systems. However, by 2024, these had all been ironed out, and the ship departed on its 2024 world cruise. This saw Ambience make her maiden calls in Australia under her new name, but she was a familiar sight in many of the ports due to her history here as Pacific Dawn. Ambassador Cruises has since added a second ship to their fleet, and has plans to expand their fleet as demand continues to increase. I spent some time on board Ambience and was impressed by the way that Ambassador Cruise Lines has been looking after the ship. Internally, she appears to be well maintained, and I'll be bringing a full tour video of the interior of this ship in the coming weeks, so check out the channel in the future for that video. I hope you found this little bit of history interesting. It's not very often that you hear of a ship that's saved at the 11th hour from the scrapyard. And I'm really glad that this ship has been saved. Her interesting design and long heritage, as well as her Australian connection, makes her a very interesting ship amongst all of the international cruise ships that exist today. Have you sailed on board Ambience? Did you travel with her when she was Pacific Dawn or Regal Princess? Let me know your thoughts of the ship in the comments below. Thanks once again for watching, and until next time, I hope to see you on board.